All right, let's jump right into Nike's latest quarterly report. In this explainer, we're going to get the story straight from the CFO's mouth, focusing only on his opening remarks to really understand the company's financial health and where they're headed. Okay, so this quote right here, it really says it all. The CFO is setting a very specific tone. It's this idea of, yeah, we're making progress, we're encouraged, but boy, we are not out of the woods yet. It's the perfect theme for what's happening at Nike, a turnaround that's definitely in motion, but with a long road still ahead. So here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll start with the big picture, then dive into the hard numbers for the quarter. We'll look at how they're doing around the world, unpack a huge challenge they're facing, and then finish up with what they're telling us to expect next. All right, first up, the big picture. Let's really unpack that central message of progress being tempered by some pretty significant headwinds. The story of this quarter is really a balancing act. On one hand, they're making real headway cleaning up their inventory. But on the other hand, they're fighting against customers who are being more careful with their money and these new outside costs that keep popping up. So this isn't some simple, straight shot back to easy growth. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the numbers. How does this story of progress and, well, pain actually show up on the balance sheet? So, if you strip out all the crazy currency fluctuations, their overall revenue was down just a tick, about 1%. It's a small number, but it tells you the business did shrink a little bit as they work through this transition. Oof, now this one hurts a bit. Gross margin dropped to 42.2%, which is a pretty big decline, and the CFO basically laid out 3 reasons why. They're discounting stuff to get it out the door, the cost to actually make their products is up, and you guessed it, those new tariffs are really starting to bite. But here's the flip side, and this is a really good sign. Inventory is down 2%. Now, why does that matter? Well, it means they're finally getting a handle on all that extra stuff sitting in warehouses. They're making space for the new, exciting products you actually want to buy. Now, this is fascinating. This shows a huge pivot in their strategy. Look at this. Sales through their partners, think Foot Locker or Dick's Sporting Goods, are up 5%. But sales from their own website and stores? Down. And digital is down a whopping 12%. This is a massive U-turn from their go direct strategy a few years back. It seems they're realizing that, you know what? Those retail partners are pretty good at this whole selling shoes thing after all. Okay, so that's the overall picture. But when you look at it globally, wow, it is a completely different story depending on where you are in the world. Let's start with the good news. North America is killing it. It is absolutely the star of the show right now. Overall growth is up 4%, and that's being driven by a huge 11% jump in their wholesale business. The recovery is definitely happening here. But then you have Greater China, and it is the complete opposite story. They are really struggling. Revenue plunged 10%. Basically, fewer people are coming into stores, and online is just a discount war. They're having to slash prices just to move product. All right, let's talk about a big external headache that the CFO spent a lot of time on. Tariffs. This is a problem that is getting a lot worse and a lot more expensive than they first thought. So what are we talking about in terms of cost? Get this, just 3 months ago, they thought this would cost them about $1 billion a year. That estimate has now shot up to $1.5 billion. That is a massive jump. And just a quick refresher on what a tariff is, it's basically a tax the government slaps on goods they bring into the country. So for Nike, it makes everything more expensive before they even get a chance to sell it. It's a direct hit to their bottom line. So what does that $1.5 billion number actually mean for the business? It means the hit to their profit margin is getting way bigger. They thought it would be a drag of about 75 basis points. Now they're saying it's closer to 120. In just 1 quarter, that pressure has ramped up enormously. So you put all that together, the good, the bad, and the very expensive. What's next for Nike? Well, the CFO didn't pull any punches and gave some pretty clear guidance. And honestly, the immediate future looks tough. They're telling everyone to expect revenue to be down again next quarter, for margins to get squeezed even more, and for costs to keep going up. It's not a rosy picture for the short term. But this is where it gets really interesting when you look at the full year. Check out this split. They're predicting that their wholesale business, selling through their partners, will actually start growing again. But their own business, Nike Direct, they don't think that's going to grow at all this year. Okay, so let's tie this all together. What are the big takeaways? North America is the comeback kid. China is a big problem.
and their whole strategy is shifting back to relying on their retail partners for growth, all while they're battling this giant, expensive tariff problem.
And that leaves us with this final thought, right? Nike, the brand that built its entire identity on telling us to just do it, is now finding that its own future might depend on letting someone else do it. It's a huge shift in thinking for one of the biggest brands on the planet.